Hello and welcome to this episode of Cosmic Crow Tarot. This is the Elizabeth on Earth Oracle. Now you've seen this deck before. I have a video all about it that I will share in the link below, but we're not talking about this deck today, despite how absolutely gorgeous it is. I'm sharing it with you today for a reason, and I'll go ahead and show you like a few cards of it and spin them out, fan them out, whatever the word is, so that you can see just what I mean, like at first glance, of how beautifully illustrated these cards are. Now, there's no guidebook or anything like that, because these are self-reflection cards. You're supposed to pick up a card, look at it, and see what it means to you. Lost and found. This card screams to me, release, let it go. What's been lost can be found again. When we're able to leave it behind, let it go, and to be able to find it again if it's meant for us. So that's just an idea of how amazing these cards are, how much they can tell you, how much they can share from just a picture and a few simple words. I absolutely love this deck. This is one of my favorite Oracle decks of all, and that's why today I have the Elizabeth on Earth Oracle continued. You can see right here, it's got the little thing too, like the first one did, of like the little material to hold it in and keep it safe. You know, you're not going to want to keep that like in your bag or something like that, because the cards are going to get very messed up that way. But once I get through the deck, you know, I'll put it back in the little plastic, or I might even just add it to the deck. We're going to see what they look like. I haven't seen this deck yet. I saw pictures of it online and I just kind of fell in love with it. It has a little coupon right here for 15% off, and you've got the little card right here that shows the butterfly in the face of the woman. It's like this one right here, where it's the character flying above the flowers. That's part of the flowers. So they're very similar, and they're by the same artist. So I really wanted to get this deck because it just adds onto it. Think of it like playing cards, like actually Pokemon cards. You know, you want to collect them, you want to get more of them. So that's what I've done with this deck. You know, I've got the whole collection right there, so I'm calling this part 2, even though online I think it is sold as part 4, so maybe there's a couple I'm missing, but that doesn't matter to me. I'm just excited to see what these cards have to share. You can see the string or the yarn is very similar to that of the other one, but I'll let you in on a little secret here. This is not the same yarn as this, and this isn't even the same yarn that came with the original one. My cat decided to eat some of the yarn, so it was only like that long instead of long enough to actually wrap it up like it was before. There you can see how beautifully wrapped it is, so you can see all the cards. Open it up like that. You can see we have the little information right here that she has written out and typed to us, so that we can read that and see what she shares about the deck. And I will read it, what it says to you right now. It says, I remember picking up a dream dictionary at the bookstore one day. As I flipped through the pages, I came across a few definitions that didn't resonate, despite historical references and traditions. Maybe one person loves the same animal that another person fears. Maybe the same enclosed space gives one person a feeling of safety and another person a feeling of claustrophobia. I also remember, after taking a few classes on the art of the tarot, how the cards seemed to stray over time from the meanings I had originally learned. No two sequences were alike, and they all told their own stories. It was a very conscious decision to omit a guidebook for this self-reflection deck. I want the cards to be personal for each individual, empowering the user with the freedom to think, feel, and observe whatever it is that may surface. In fact, nearly every artwork I release begins with a reading, after the image is complete, that I sit with it and find deeper meaning. Sometimes I notice things in the art that were not conscious decisions during the creative process, and I continue to be fascinated and inspired by the connections other people discover in the cards. The artwork titles at the bottom of the cards, feel free to ignore them at your choosing. They are there for you if you need a starting point. In addition to the titles, my own descriptions of the works are at elizabethonearth.com. However, my hope is that the following explorations will offer some clarity on how to use and interpret the cards subjectively, how to observe the artworks and translate those observations into useful tools for your own life, your own spirit, and your own self. So that's the first half of this, and you have where to start right there. You had the back here of what do you see. see and the different questions and everything you have to ask. So there is a lot of thought process put behind this deck. There's a lot of beauty to it. There's a lot of wisdom and self-reflection that she has done herself to share with us that we now have the opportunity to do so with this deck. Now, this isn't a tarot deck, so I'm not going to say like order a reading with just this deck or purchase purchase a reading from me for this own deck. But if you are interested in a reading, I would use this deck in the reading as well. I'll share my own thoughts about the card, and then I'll give you the opportunity to share your own thoughts about it as well. Take the time to think about what the illustration is speaking to you. And that's the beauty of the tarot. There's the specific meanings of it. There's the things that everybody knows, that everybody's grown up with. Those meanings that many of us have memorized in order to get, our first base, get our first step with it. But there's so much more to it. So much more we can gain from it when we start listening to our own inner voices and think about what the cards mean to us. So we're going to go through this deck right now. We're going to see what the different illustrations show, and you can see there the backs are exactly like the original. So you can add this deck to that deck, and you can have the extra cards than you didn't have before. So you've got the two little meaning cards right there, like the little examples there. So we're going to set those aside so that we don't have to look at those, because we're looking at the illustrations. There we have conscious life, and the woman is like a cactus standing in the field. The dreamer is next, and you have that illustration right there. Dream your dreams, believe in them, know that you are the one with the magic to create them. From the stillness is a beautiful illustration with a woman in water, the red of the skirt, dress, and everything. That gives you meaning as well. Gala is after that, and you have that illustration right there. You have her favorite things next, and it's kind of in winter, and it reminds me of Christmas. So that's a really interesting illustration. Her wildest designs, create what you want, no matter how wild and crazy they seem. If you're focused on it, if you're above your emotions and you believe in yourself and those emotions that fulfill you with joy when you think about it, you can create those designs. Homecoming, and there's a little crow there on the side, so that's really cool. Beautiful illustration with all the animals and everything. The invitation, there is the snow again, cold darkness, and you're being welcomed into something else. Again, I'm just saying the first things that come to my mind. It's you as you're looking to this deck. I'll leave the link in the description below if you want to purchase it for your own collection, so you could start trusting your own intuition and let the cards share with you what sounds right to you. Next up, we have It Belongs to Everyone, and we have that little cactus scene again, in the middle of the desert. So beautiful illustration as well right there. Joy in the Shadows. Now this one actually speaks to me more than any other ones I've seen so far, because it kind of shows that darkness and finding joy in the darkness. Like even in the rain, you can go out there, you can splash, you can sing, you can dance, and you can't do that as much as when it's sunny. You're just enjoying the darkness a little bit more and appreciating it just as much as you can appreciate the light. Little Earthling is next, and we have that illustration right here. Then we have the Master, and she's got all these keys hanging behind her as she walks forward into the unknown. She's taking a new path. She's a master of her own destiny, and she knows how capable she is of achieving her goals. Oceans to Fly. There, I almost said oceans and fly. That's not right. It's oceans to fly. And you have this illustration right here, and the little bird, and she's ready to take off, to embrace that inner bird within her and fly free. And then we have Pink. Pink looks a little bit sad and depressed sitting there, but you see she's got the fish down there, and the whole illustration is just beautiful, sitting on the shore, facing those dark emotions, sitting there beside the ocean of emotions, so perhaps she can let it go and find joy in her life. Protection spell, there is the red again, the red dress, passion, anger, fire, all that red energy, all the passion, all the fires, and all this happiness that can come with it, as well as the anger. We have that there, keeping ourselves safe as we embark on a new path. Next up, we have Rising, rising above the ashes. This one kind of screams Phoenix to me. Rising above the past, rising above the darkness, and letting that inner fire lead us forward. Next up, we have RSVP, and a beautiful little illustration here. Kind of reminds me of garden gnomes and stuff like that, like elves living in the trees. People do this now. I think my mom has one at her house, like the trees, like the little doors on it, you make little rocks with little faces of elves and stuff, so they have their little elvy fairy little garden right there. And she's RSVPing to one of their houses. Their Safe Place and Land. Now this card Let me see if I can get it really quickly. This card is this card right here. So it was originally with the first deck in this tiny little card right here. And now we have the real thing, a safe place to land. It's part of us. It's one with us. We know it. We feel comfortable with it. So that's a really awesome illustration and card to add to this deck. And then we have Salty Sweet right here, beautiful, and it goes back to that enjoying the darkness, like finding pleasure in the darkness and everything. And I talked about the rain, because there, you're enjoying the rain, you're dancing in it, you're letting it purify you and bring you closer to like your new chapter. So beautiful illustration right there, and it speaks a lot. We have Shine here with a deer in the dress. So this is an interesting illustration that'll put a lot of thought process in. Sincerely Yours, there we have that illustration with all the butterflies and the pink dress and her like one with the clouds. Thank You is a card. It's all about harvest, you know, appreciating those fruits of your labor, appreciating the harvest and all the things that like life has offered us. So that's a really great card to draw, you know, reminding you that there's much in life to appreciate when you focus on it. The Travelers, there's the illustration for the Travelers. Again, she's part of the clouds, one with the clouds. She's moving forward, she's traveling, she's learning from the birds that there's chaos sometimes, that you just have to travel through it. That's part of life. The Clearing is right there in the illustration, you know, not much, just the bird right there. So you have that freedom, that clearing. I love how many birds are just in this illustration, in these illustrations. You know, maybe that's why it called to me, why like I really wanted it, because those really look like crows to me. And it's the crossing, you know, you're crossing from that darkness to the light. You're taking those experiences and learning from and flying over that ocean of emotions, so that the negative emotions that you might be holding on to, you can let go of finally. Guidance is right here in this illustration. You have the lighthouse and the bridge going to it, you know, learning from those experiences, shining a light on the ocean of emotions so you can really guide yourself past it and believe that there's guidance from above having your back at the same time. Humility is right there, just reminding you that you got to laugh at yourself sometimes. You've got to have humility to kind of forgive yourself from the past and not realize that you don't need to be perfect all the time. You know, the ducks here, you don't usually see ducks all singular there. So maybe this duck is taking the time to really reflect on where they've been, facing their own emotions, so then they can join their pack again. And then last but certainly not least is Mirrors. You've got the wintry scene right there, you know, taking the time to rest and reflect during winter so you can decide what you want spring to be. So those are the 24 new cards to add to the Elizabeth on Earth Oracle. You can see there, like I said, let me get that back out. They're very much the same color and everything as the original. So, you know, you can take that little cloth that I originally had and you can add them together and put them like in the same thing, and you know, you just add it to the deck so that you have even more to share. And like I said, I will totally, if you're interested in a personal reading, feel free to comment on this video, message me on either of the socials. All of that will be in the information as well, below, as well as the link to this deck. You know, the walkthrough is that deck. It wasn't really an unboxing, it was just me showing the cards to you. So that's going to be there as well. And you can also, I'll leave my website in the description below too, cosmiccrowtarot.com, so you can book a personal reading there as well. And I will absolutely add one of these cards. I will share my thoughts with it because I love it. It's so beautiful, so interesting, so original. I'll share my thoughts on it, and then I want you to look at the illustration as well. PDF format, even that's how the written readings are, and video readings, those are available too, so that you can see the cards, you can see the pictures and decide what they mean to you as well. As always, I really want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it inspired you a little bit if you want to get this deck, or if you want to start trusting yourself more. Sometimes something as simple as an illustration can give you the answers that you seek. You are the master of your own destiny. You hold the keys to the answers that you seek when you start trusting your inner voice, when you commune with nature and you spend time getting to know yourself and appreciating all that life has to offer. See, just a simple illustration can give you that much to go on, give you that much hope and guidance for your own life. Believe in yourself. You know, get a reading if you want more empowerment, you want more inspiration, and you want someone else to tell you how awesome you are, because that's what my readings are all about. Again, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again in the next video.